for itself. Arrest Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg is overstepping his boundaries.
Did you hear what Josh Hawley said about the Donald Trump hush money case in New York?
These people have made a career of this stuff. You talk about a double standard. The entire Clinton family ought to be in prison on the basis of these charges now against Donald Trump, which appear to be totally made up to me. It's a totally fake crime nobody's ever heard of before. No, it's a two-tiered system of justice. It's an assault on the rule of law. And whether we're talking about targeting Christians or going after Republicans and conservatives, this administration will do anything to hold on to power. I think that's the message.
The Clintons? Again? Come on, Josh Hawley. You like to deflect much? Listen, bro, you do the crime, you got to do the time. But Hawley's reaction doesn't even compare to what these Trump supporters think.
For itself. Arrest Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg is overstepping his boundaries. We the people are calling for the arrest of Alvin Bragg. 4 crimes of treason. Election interference. I don't even know if that's a crime, but election interference, obstruction of justice, even lying to a grand jury. Trump done nothing wrong. We're here to show support for the greatest president ever, Donald Trump. Arrest Alvin Bragg. You know, in South Carolina, you could do citizens arrests. So if Alvin Bragg ever comes to South Carolina, arrest him. Arrest him. We the people. Arrest Alvin Bragg.
Yeah. The best part of that clip was when he started listing the crimes. He goes, election interference. I don't even know if that's a crime. Listen, you can't make a citizen's arrest on Alvin Bragg, all right? He's just doing his job in New York. But at least it can't get any worse. Can it?
We're there, I think, 57 minutes. Tell us from your perspective what that was like.
They were incredible. When I went to the courthouse, which is also a prison, in a sense, they signed me in. And I'll tell you, people were crying. People that work there, professionally work there, that have no problems putting in murderers, and they see everybody. It's tough place. And they were crying. They were actually crying. They said, I'm sorry.
Maybe they were crying because they had to deal with Donald Trump. You ultimately end up crying if you deal with Donald Trump. The truth is, this whole case is crazy. Listen, he paid hush money towards the end of the election. It would have affected his election. He used illegal means to pay hush money, and then he said he didn't use hush money. And that probably would have taken some votes away from the evangelicals in the 2016 election. We're going all the way back to 2016. So ultimately, he did commit some crime. Now, is he going to get convicted for it? I don't know. Let's go to court. Let's find out. The truth is, the dude has broken a lot of laws, all right? He took the classified documents to Mar-a-Lago and didn't want to give them back. He tried to overthrow democracy January 6th. He lied about the election being stolen. He tried to get Zelensky, bribe Zelensky into investigating Biden. The dude's a criminal, all right? They got Al Capone on taxes. Al Capone was a mobster who killed a lot of people, but they couldn't get him, but they got him on tax evasion. Similarly, Donald Trump has been committing crimes his whole life, and it's possible that either Alvin Bragg or Letitia James or I believe it's Fannie Willis in Georgia, someone's going to take him down for something. We don't know what. But the guy's a criminal. So I would advise these MAGA Republicans to jump off now because it's just going to go south. I know he's getting more and more popular. I know you're crazy and you support the guy even though he does not care about you. All the people that showed up on January 6th ended up in prison supporting him, and he didn't get any of you out. Now he's promising pardons. He can't and will not go through with the pardons. The guy's lied his whole life. So it's pretty simple. It's pretty clear. And yet, there they are defending him. Josh Hawley defending him. Some random dude who's quoting law at a Trump rally defending him. And Tucker Carlson, of course, who in private texts to other Fox employees said he hated Donald Trump, is right there kissing his butt. So there we have it. All the Trump supporters are trying to say that the case in New York is all a sham, when in reality, he broke the law. And he's broken the law several times. So listen, guys, get off the bandwagon, jump off now, find another guy, because this guy is sinking. That's all there is to it.
House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan. First of all, Jim, let me
As was shown at the top of this video, Representative Jim Jordan, out of Ohio, is making it a point to, I guess, prove that Bragg going after former President Donald Trump when there are violent crimes happening in his district is wrong, I think. As if this means that Bragg's record on violent crime needs to be spotless before going after a presidential candidate. Or maybe Bragg should let 45 get away with his crimes. I don't know. Whatever the case, Jordan doesn't actually believe this. More on this in a minute. Now, after listing the crime categories that are now lower in Manhattan, a spokesperson from the Manhattan DA's office responded this way to the GOP House Judiciary Committee's tweet. Quote, in DA Bragg's first year in office, New York City had one of the lowest murder rates of major cities in the United States, nearly 3 times lower than, Columbus, Ohio. If Chairman Jordan truly cared about public safety, he could take a short drive to, and as much as it pains me to say this, it's true, Columbus, Dayton, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Akron, or Toledo in his home state, instead of using taxpayer dollars to travel hundreds of miles out of his way. So before I continue, not only is it true that the crime rate in New York City is lower than that of my hometown and the city that I love, Columbus, but the state of New York's gun death rate is lower than Ohio's too. That's for anyone who is under the impression that crime issues are due to large cities being blue. Ohio is very much a red state. And instead of acknowledging their role in the stats I just laid out, Ohio Republicans claim that, quote, Democrats have consistently supported soft on crime policies that contribute to rampant crime in Columbus, while adding, out-of-state liberals attacking their Democrat colleagues is only highlighting their stupidity, instead of, using that time to pass laws to make the lives of Ohioans and Americans better. At Judiciary, GOP also tweeted out this article with the headline saying, suspects sought after 17-year-old shot and injured in Manhattan, like one crime supersedes statewide and countrywide data. With that said, Jim Jordan is doing the very thing that he is accusing DA Alvin Bragg of. Shouldn't Jim Jordan focus on what's going on in his own state instead of interfering with a DA's criminal investigation? That's what he's being sued for, by the way.
They're obstructing our investigation, Brett. We have a constitutional duty to get to the facts, particularly when you have a district attorney interfering with the most important election we have, which is the election of the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States. And understand what happened here. Alvin Bragg used federal funds to indict a former president for no crime, and then when we ask questions about it, when we want to investigate, he takes us to court. And he takes us to court because we want to talk to someone who left the DA's office a year ago, who went out and wrote a book on this very subject, did all kinds of interviews, was pushing to go after President Trump before he got there, while he got there, when he left, he wrote a book about it, and we're not allowed to talk to him to do our duty. They're obstructing our constitutional duty to do oversight.
This man just said, I know you are, but what am I? And people take him absolutely serious. You should know that Jim Jordan may literally be the most ineffective congressperson serving right now, according to a study. And to be clear, Jordan doesn't represent Columbus or any of our big cities in Ohio. He avoids those places like there's a bunch of black and brown people here who he knows won't vote for him. We won't, which is why his district looks like this. Plus, Columbus is the home of my alma mater, The Ohio State University, and he doesn't want to come here for obvious reasons. With all of that said, the people who cheer for Jim Jordan don't actually want him to do his actual job.